Welcome to Sheri 2016 and Presentation 1.1 Research, Innovation and Evaluation in Medical Education. I'm Rachel Ellaway. I'm a Professor in Community Health Sciences and the Co-Director of the Office of Health and Medical Education Scholarship, and I'm one of the tutors in the Sheri course this year. The course runs 3 face-to-face sessions, Friday, January 15th, January 22nd and January 29th, between 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. We will be running in the W21C multipurpose room on the ground floor of TRW in the Foothills campus. We will be providing you a worksheet in advance that you start to fill in before the first session, during the session, between the session and so on, which will cumulatively build to give you a capstone for the course. We're also providing a series of recorded short didactic materials, of which this is the first, that we encourage you to review before attending the sessions. And we have pointed you to a series of readings that we hope that you will engage with as preparation for each session. So let's move on to the main focus of this presentation, which is on research, innovation and evaluation in medical education, with a particular focus on scholarship in medical education. The first thing to observe is that health education is a field. There is no single one theory, method or approach that defines the field, but rather we see a meeting point for multiple concepts, practices, theories, methods and so on that come from multiple disciplines and from multiple perspectives that include cognitivist approaches which focus on the function and training of brains, social constructivist which looks at how learning and meaning is built in social and interactive environments, systems of medical education that look at how training and assessment are managed as systems, and the philosophy and values of medical education or health professions education in terms of why we do what we do and what we're trying to achieve. All of this focuses on a practical and pragmatic approach to improving the training of physicians to improve health outcomes, and that's one of the defining aspects of our field. It's not that education in other areas doesn't have a moral basis, but it primarily focuses on the learner as the end point, whereas in health professions education, the patient is the end point, and the quality of the learner that we create has an impact on creating improved patient outcomes. And that's one of the defining aspects of our field, along with the many intersecting disciplines and perspectives that are brought to bear. Health professions education also works at a range of different scales, ranging from individual learning through to whole medical education systems. It also addresses different issues, such as what happens, how do things work, how can we improve them, how can we fix them if there are problems, and how do we respond to new and emerging challenges. There are also different values at work, which we can categorize as being largely nomothetic, which are about generalizable, broad, global concepts and findings, and idiographic, which are highly context-specific and local. An example of which is that you might expect general research to be more nomothetic in the sense that it should be able to be applied in lots of different situations, whereas evaluation is largely idiographic in the sense that it largely applies to a particular context and informs decision makers in that context. There are also many different philosophies at play, including approaches that are largely focused on measurement, others that focus on explanation, how things work, others that are about prediction, how things will work, and generalism in the sense of how broad things connect and how do we address broad and knotty questions. And it's important to understand that there is strength in this eclecticism as well as conflict, that a medical education or health professions education gains much from the intersection of multiple disciplinary perspectives, although it does also mean that there are challenges in having a single voice or a single perspective on what health professions education is actually all about. A key part to approaching scholarship is the concept of inquiry. And it's important to understand that in medical education or health professions education, we don't know everything. We're not even close to knowing everything. And we need scholarly inquiry of many different kinds to address the large number of knowledge gaps about how we can best provide educational experiences and training experiences for the many individuals who are going into the health professions. This includes areas that are focused on research, which is largely about theory testing and building theory, and generating new knowledge that informs the way that we understand the practice and approach to education. It also includes approaches to evaluation, whether or not something in particular worked, how well it worked, and largely supporting decision-making processes about whether it's going to be continued or changed, rather than how it's going to be approached in the first instance. There's a third area of innovation, which involves the systematic development, introduction, and translation of new things into health professions education. An inquiry can be focused on all three areas. It's not limited to research. And throughout this course, throughout the Sheri course, we'll be focusing on the concept of inquiry and how you can realize and systematize inquiry in a scholarly way so that you can inform research, evaluation, and innovation activities of your own. The pursuit of scholarship is an essential part of how we undertake this kind of work, and we can consider a number of different models of scholarship, including Boyer's model of different kinds of activity that can be considered to be scholarly. The scholarship of discovery involves research, innovation, and other means by which new knowledge, new methods, new techniques, and new materials are developed for use within a field. The scholarship of integration involves the synthesis of what we already know within a particular field, such as through systematic reviews, and cross-domain activity, bringing ideas, concepts, methods, and so on in from other domains, such as other branches of education. The scholarship of application is about understanding and developing the effectiveness of the approaches that we take, particularly in education. And the scholarship of teaching and learning is about the systematic evaluation and exploration of different approaches to teaching and learning, as opposed to the operational undertaking of teaching and learning on a day-to-day basis. We can also consider the kinds of things that make something scholarly. Glassig and colleagues came up with a series of criteria by which we can assess whether a work or an activity or a project is scholarly. These include ensuring that there are clear goals, i.e. that the plan, the intent, the questions are clearly expressed. It should have adequate preparation in the sense that what is known about this field or area or topic is already explored and that this isn't replicating existing studies. There should be appropriate methods that address the kinds of questions and issues that the study is trying to get involved, and these should also be well theoretically grounded. The results should be significant in the sense that they are well derived, that they are not weakened by the methodological approach, and they should also be significant in the sense that they are of use and meaning and can be used to apply to other settings. There should be an effective presentation of what's found, a communication of the ideas and approaches, and in particular the findings from the different studies involved. And there should also be a sense of reflective critique, that assertions should not be made without justification, that the limitations of the study should be well considered, and that the biases and alternatives to the kinds of approaches taken should also be considered, so that the study is more objective and its weaknesses as well as its strengths are clearly identified. We can also consider quality in scholarship. Now that may involve using Glassig's criteria to ensure that a scholarly work has been well considered and represented. Or we may consider other definitions, such as this one from the Canadian Association for Medical Education, that states that quality in educational scholarship is reflected in work that is peer-reviewed and publicly disseminated, and that provides a platform that others can build on. This concept reflects the importance of others being able to judge, comment, and help to improve the work that you do, that it has no real value until it is being publicly disseminated, i.e. it's been shared with others, and that sharing it then provides an opportunity for others to build on that work. It shouldn't be a dead end, but rather a starting point or a jumping off point for others to build on. We can also consider who it is that does education scholarship. And in any absolute sense, a scholar is simply someone who acts in a scholarly way. That can include teachers, and that can be any kind or all kinds of teachers working at all kinds of levels. Certainly it involves researchers, both clinical and non-clinical. It can also involve program organisers and leaders, educational designers, program evaluators, and of course scholars of every other kind, including students. Educational scholarship, therefore, is not closed to a particular kind of role or a particular kind of training, but with appropriate care and attention can be undertaken by anybody who is prepared to ascribe to the values of scholarship and conduct a project that meets them across the board. So in terms of the Sheri course and how scholarship relates to Sheri, our intention, our objectives for the course are that by the end of this series, that you as a participant will be able to articulate what scholarship means, that you'll be able to recognize key principles of scholarship, including clear goals, adequate preparation, effective methods, meaningful results, effective presentation, and reflective critique. And then you'll be able to initiate and implement a scholarly educational project of your own. So, in summary, scholarship sets standards for working in and around health professions education, particularly when you're engaging in activities associated with research, innovation, and evaluation. There are many different dimensions of scholarship, but we are paying particular attention to those from Boyer and from Glassick. With training, we believe that anyone can adopt a scholarly stance to their work, and that's what we'll be taking you through in this course. And indeed, Sheri has been designed to help you to become more scholarly in your health professions education work as a whole. We look forward to working with you in this course, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of these sessions and recordings.